Roasting Coffee at Home for Consumption and Marketing, written and produced by Wamala Dennis. 1. Harvest your ripe coffee cherries. Dry them under the sun to turn them into Kibuko coffee, dried cherries. Take the Kibuko coffee to the factory for hurling to produce coffee beans, Kase, also known as fair average quality, FAQ. 2. If you don't have a coffee garden, you can buy coffee beans, Kase, from a trader or a coffee hurling factory. 3. Before starting to roast the coffee beans, it is a good practice to use grading screens to separate coffee beans of different screen sizes. For example, screen 18, screen 15, screen 12, etc. This practice helps to achieve a uniform roast as beans of the same size will roast at the same pace. However, if grading screens are not available, it is still possible to roast the coffee beans and achieve good results. Coffee beans of bigger screen sizes have fewer defects, making them preferable for brewing, but all coffee beans of different screen sizes are great. 4. Prepare the equipment. You will need a source of heat, for example, a charcoal stove, a saucepan with a thick bottom or a large skillet, a stirring utensil, and green coffee beans. 2. Preheat the saucepan or skillet. Place the saucepan or skillet on the charcoal stove and let it heat up for a few minutes. 3. Once the skillet or saucepan is hot, add the desired amount of green coffee beans. Make sure to spread them evenly across the skillet. It's best to keep the layer of coffee beans to a single layer. This allows for even roasting and ensures that all the beans are in contact with the surface of the skillet or saucepan. If the beans are piled too high, they may not roast evenly, and some may even burn while others remain under-roasted. So it's recommended to roast coffee beans on a skillet with a single layer of beans. 4. Stir the beans. Use the stirring utensil to continuously stir the beans. This will ensure an even roast and prevent the beans from burning, or you can place a perforated lid on the skillet and agitate the coffee beans every 20-30 seconds for an even roast. 5. Monitor the roast. Keep an eye on the color and aroma of the beans during the roasting. Process to keep track of the roasting stage reached. Light roast, medium roast, or dark roast. You can use a timer to track the time elapsed. Light roast. A light roast typically preserves the original flavor and characteristics of the coffee beans, including their acidity, sweetness, and unique flavor notes that reflect the environment of origin. Light roast coffee beans have a light brown color and a dry, matte surface. You can achieve a light roast by roasting the beans for a short period of time, typically between 7-10 minutes. The first cracking sound while roasting is an indicator that the beans have reached a light to medium roast level. The beans will have a high acidity, less complex flavor, high caffeine content, slightly bitter or harsh taste. In Uganda, market for light roast coffee beans is provided by those who chew coffee beans. Medium roast. Medium roast coffee beans have a darker brown color and a slightly oily surface. They can still retain some of the unique characteristics and original flavor notes that reflect the coffee's environment of origin. However, they are slightly toned down compared to a light roast. The medium roast flavor profile is more balanced and have a slightly fuller body, medium acidity, and slightly sweeter taste. You can achieve a medium roast by roasting the beans for a longer period of time, typically between 10-12 minutes. The second crack is an indicator that the beans have reached a medium to dark roast level, and it is a more intense popping sound. Pour dark roast. Dark roast coffee beans have a dark brown color and a shiny, oily indoor surface. The beans will have a low acidity, and the taste of the coffee will be bold and smoky with notes of caramel and dark chocolate. A dark roast coffee may lose some of the distinct flavor notes that reflect the environment of origin, as the roast level may overpower and mask these nuances. It can also help to mask to some extent the defects in low-quality beans. However, a dark roast can still reflect the environment of origin through its body and mouthfeel. You can achieve a dark roast by roasting the beans for an extended period of time, typically between 12-15 minutes. When you continue to roast the beans beyond the second crack, you will hear a series of snaps and pops, and the beans will become very dark and oily. This is an indicator that the beans have reached a dark roast level. 6. Adjust the heat. If the beans are roasting too quickly or too slowly, adjust the heat by moving the skillet from the charcoal stove or back to the charcoal stove. Remember to be careful when roasting coffee, as the process involves high heat and can be dangerous if not done properly. 7. Cool the beans. Once the beans have reached the desired roast level, remove them from the heat source and cool them down. You can spread them on a tray to cool them down. 8. After roasting coffee, wait for the coffee beans to degas before packing them. This degassing process typically takes between 12 to 24 hours, depending on various factors such as the roast level, the type of coffee bean. During the degassing process, the coffee beans release carbon dioxide gas that has built up inside them during the roasting process. If the coffee is packed too soon after roasting, the built-up gas can cause the coffee bag to expand and potentially burst. Additionally, packing coffee before degassing can result in a less flavorful and less aromatic cup of coffee. 9. Store the roasted coffee beans. Store them in an airtight container away from heat, light, and moisture. 10. Grinding roasted coffee beans. Coffee grinding is the process of breaking down roasted coffee beans into smaller particles, which increases the surface area of the coffee and allows for better extraction of flavors and aromas. The grind size of the coffee is an important factor in determining the taste and strength of the coffee. There are different methods of coffee grinding, including manual and electric grinders, which use burrs or blades to grind the coffee beans to the desired size. The grind size of coffee refers to the size of the individual coffee particles after grinding. Different methods of making a coffee cup, brewing, require different grind sizes to extract the best flavor and aroma from the coffee beans. Here are the most common grind sizes for roasted coffee and the brewing methods they are best suited for. In it, medium grind coffee refers to coffee beans that have been ground to a medium-sized particle size. The coffee particles are about the size of granulated sugar. Medium grind can be good in our rural settings where consumers have no brewing equipment. Here, consumers normally pour hot water on the medium ground coffee in a cup, and the coffee is ready for drinking. Medium grind is good in drip coffee brewing method. Here, medium ground coffee is put on a filter, and hot water is slowly poured over the coffee. This brewing method allows extraction of flavors from the coffee without allowing the coffee grounds into the cup. If the grind is too fine, the coffee can become over-extracted and taste bitter, while if the grind is too coarse, the coffee can be under-extracted and taste weak. However, you can test and choose what best suits your taste. Fine grind. Fine grind coffee has small particles. Fine grind is typically used for coffee brewing methods that involve a short contact time between the coffee and the water, such as espresso, mocha pot, and Turkish coffee. Mocha pot brewing method. To use a mocha pot, water is added to the bottom chamber, ground coffee is placed in the metal filter basket, and the pot is heated on a stove until the water boils and steam pressure forces the hot water through the coffee grounds and into the top chamber. The resulting coffee is stronger than drip coffee, but not as concentrated as espresso. Espresso coffee. To make an espresso, a machine is used to force hot water through a compacted puck of finely ground coffee beans. The resulting shot of coffee typically contains about 30 to 50 milliliters of liquid and is served in a small cup. Espresso is the foundation for many coffee drinks, such as cappuccinos, lattes, and macchiatos, and is enjoyed by many coffee enthusiasts for its intense flavor and aroma. Espresso origin is Italy, from where it spread to the world. Italy is one of the biggest importers of Ugandan Robusta coffee, as Robusta adds strength and depth to the espresso. Very fine grind is good for Turkish coffee. In this method, finely ground coffee beans are boiled in a pot called a kezve with water and sugar, optional, and then poured directly into a cup without filtering. The coffee is usually served with the grounds still in the cup. Coarse grind. Coarse grind coffee has larger particles and is typically used for brewing. Methods such as French press and cold brew. The large particles allow for a slower extraction process, resulting in a more full-bodied and less bitter cup of coffee. Store the coffee. Once the coffee is ground, it should be used immediately for optimal flavor and freshness. If you need to store the coffee, store it in an airtight container in a cool, dry place away from sunlight. Commercial roasting, grinding, and packaging. Coffee. Small to medium-sized commercial coffee roasters usually have the roasting capacity ranging from 2 kilograms per hour to 25 kilograms per hour. Some larger commercial coffee roasters can roast up to 140 kilograms per hour. There are several roasters in Uganda, however. If you are new to commercial roasting, I would recommend the roaster at Makerere University Farm, Cabagnolo, in Gayaza Town, about 15 kilometers from Kampala. It is run by Kurid, which is an agribusiness incubation center helping entrepreneurs to launch careers. Here you will kickstart your coffee roasting, grinding, and packaging with people willing to help you learn. Their roasting rates are also low to attract entrepreneurs to join Coffee Value Addition, BMNB. There is weight loss during coffee roasting. Light roast about 12%, 15%. Medium roast about 15%, 20%. Dark roast about 20%, 25%. Example. An example of roasting and grinding costs at commercial roasting centers like Kurid at Cabagnolo Farm in Gayaza. Assuming you came with your 10 kilograms of Robusta coffee beans, FAQ, which you bought at a rate of UGX 13,000 per kilogram. NB, if you want to know the day's market prices for coffee in different parts of Uganda, UCDA provided a system to help. For Robusta prices, send a message with the word Robusta to 7,197. For Arabica prices, send a message with the word Arabica to 7,197. For international prices, send a message with the word coffee to 7,197. In this example, we are going to consider 10 kilograms of Robusta coffee, assuming each kilogram of coffee beans costs you guess 14,000. Therefore, 10 kilograms costs you 140000. At Cabagnolo, the cost of roasting 1 kilogram is UGX 2,500. Therefore, roasting 10 kilograms will UGX 25,000. At Cabagnolo, the cost of grinding 1 kilogram of roasted coffee beans is UGX 500. Therefore, grinding costs will be UGX 5,000 Uganda. Therefore, roasting and grinding 10 kilograms will cost a total of UGX 30,000. After medium roast, the coffee may lose 20% of its weight. The 10 kilograms of coffee beans become about 8 kilograms of roasted beans. When you sum up the cost of 10 kilograms of coffee beans, UGX 140000, and the cost of roasting and grinding it, which is UGX 30,000, you get a total cost of UGX 170000. From 8 kilograms of roasted and ground coffee, you can pack 32 sachets of coffee, each weighing 250 grams. When you divide UGX 170000 by 32 sachets, you get the cost of coffee in each 250-gram sachet, which is roasted and ground at UGX 5,350. However, this cost doesn't include packaging and marketing costs. When you pack coffee in sachets of 100 grams, you get 80 sachets from 8 kilograms of roasted and ground coffee. When you divide UGX 170000 by 32 sachets, you get the cost of coffee in each 100-gram sachet, which is roasted and ground at UGX 2,150. However, this cost doesn't include packaging and marketing costs. Note that the price for coffee beans keeps fluctuating with the forces of demand and supply for coffee beans. Packages for roasted coffee. Qualities of a good package for roasted coffee are ISO 1. Airtight. The package should be airtight to prevent oxygen from entering the bag and oxidizing the coffee beans. Oxygen exposure can lead to staleness and loss of flavor. 2. Moisture resistant. Coffee beans are hygroscopic, which means they absorb moisture easily. Therefore, the package should be moisture resistant to prevent the beans from absorbing moisture, which can affect the flavor and aroma of the coffee. 3. Light proof. Exposure to light can also affect the flavor and aroma of coffee. The package should be light proof to protect the coffee beans from direct sunlight or artificial light. However, there are some coffee companies which use a special type of glass that filters out UV light rays or provide additional packaging protection to minimize the effect of light on the coffee. Such companies want to benefit from the visual appeal that glass containers add, such as the elegant and premium appearance of the product. 4. Durable. The package should be durable enough to withstand handling, shipping, and storage without compromising the quality of the coffee beans. 5. Size appropriate. The package should be appropriately sized to fit the quantity of coffee beans it contains. It should not be too big or too small, as this can affect the quality of the coffee beans. 6. Easy to open and reseal. The package should be easy to open and reseal to maintain the Freshness of the coffee beans. A Ziploc or resealable closure is ideal. 7. Clear labeling. The package should have clear labeling that includes the roast date, origin, and any other relevant information about the coffee beans. This information helps consumers make informed decisions about their purchase and ensures they are getting fresh coffee beans. Examples of coffee packages. 1. Paper bags. They are relatively cheap, lightweight, and easy to dispose of. However, they are not very durable and can tear or puncture easily, allowing air and moisture to enter. 2. Vacuum sealed bags. Vacuum sealers remove air from the package before sealing it, creating an airtight seal that helps to preserve the freshness of the coffee. They are often used with bags made of materials such as plastic or foil, and they can be used for both ground and whole bean coffee. Vacuum sealers can be more expensive than heat sealers, but they are more effective at preserving the freshness of the coffee as they remove air that can cause the coffee to go stale. Prices for vacuum sealers start from about UGX 100000 and upwards. Use online shopping platforms, e.g. Jumia, or visit electronics shops in Kampala. Or 3. Heat-sealed bags. Heat sealers use heat to melt the packaging material and create an airtight seal. They are often used with bags made of materials such as plastic or paper, and they can be used for both ground and whole bean coffee. Heat sealers are relatively inexpensive and easy to use, and they can be used to pack small to medium quantities of coffee quickly. However, they do not remove air from the package, so the coffee may still be exposed to oxygen, which can cause it to go stale over time. Prices for heater sealers range between UGX 70,000 to UGX 200,000. Use online shopping platforms, e.g. Jumia, or visit electronics shops in Kampala. Heater sealers are also commonly used while packing roasted coffee in transparent polythene tubes, just like roasted nuts, though this is a poor quality package for coffee. 4. Coffee packages with valves. A valve on a coffee pack is a small one-way valve that is used to release the buildup of gases that are produced by the coffee after it has been roasted. The valve helps to maintain the freshness and flavor of the coffee by allowing the gases to escape while preventing oxygen and other contaminants from entering the bag. When coffee is roasted, it releases carbon dioxide gas as part of the natural process. If this gas is not allowed to escape, it can build up and cause the bag to puff up in loose shape or burst. You can seal these packs using a vacuum sealer or a heat sealer. These packaging materials are available in Uganda, with sizes from 50 grams to 1,000 grams plus. They are a bit more costly, e.g. the price for a 250 grams package is normally between UGX 1,500 and UGX 2,500 per pack. You can find suppliers among coffee roasters and some shops for packaging containers, or you can order for them via online retail platforms like Jumia. Some packs have zippers that allow consumers to easily open and reseal the packaging. Consumers can easily access the coffee, take out the desired amount, and then reseal the bag to keep the remaining coffee fresh. 5. Glass jars. Glass jars offer protection from light, air, and moisture and are reusable and recyclable. They are also aesthetically pleasing and can be used to display the coffee beans. However, they are heavy and bulky, making them difficult to transport and store, and they are prone to breakage. In addition, glass is not transparent to all wavelengths of light. It does allow some light to pass through, especially if the jar is clear or transparent. 6. Tins. Tins are typically made of steel or aluminum and come in a variety of shapes and sizes. They are usually coated with a food-grade lacquer to prevent any interaction between the coffee and the metal. The tins are then filled with coffee and sealed with a lid that can be airtight. Tins give good shelf life to coffee. They are also portable and reusable. Tin can sealers buying prices range from UGX 50,000 for manual sealers and upwards. You can buy them from electronic shops in Kampala or order for them via online retail platforms like Jumia. Otherwise, some coffee roasting centers have those machines, such that you can pack from there. Tin cans are not very expensive. Some roasting centers also sell them. 7. Plastic bottles. Plastic bottles can provide a convenient, lightweight, airtight, and moisture-resistant container for coffee. Transparent plastic bottles allow the coffee inside to be seen, which makes it more appealing to some. However, transparent plastic bottles are generally not as effective at preventing light exposure. Light exposure can cause coffee to degrade and lose its flavor and aroma over time, especially if the coffee is exposed to direct sunlight or strong artificial lighting. Plastic bottles can also be more permeable to air and moisture compared to other packaging materials, such as aluminum or glass, which can lead to a shorter shelf life for the coffee. Plastic bottle costs from about UGX 100 to UGX 700 per bottle, depending on size. There are many plastic bottle suppliers manufacturers in Uganda, such as Best Packs in Matuga, Samaka Plastics in Galileo Plaza Kampala, Afroplast in Luzira, and many suppliers in Kikubo. These bottles are covered using their bottle tops. However, some people add on a polythene seal. They use a heat gun to fold a polythene seal, shrink band, which covers the bottle top to ensure the bottle is not opened until it reaches the final consumer. Heat guns prices start from about UGX 150000 and upwards. You can order for them via online retail platforms like Jumia, or you can buy from electronics equipment shops in Kampala. Enjoy roasting, consuming, and marketing coffee from home. I have written this digest on roasting coffee at home for consumption and marketing, following an extension approach that starts with where the farmers are, with the resources they have to empower them to engage in value addition processes, roasting, grinding, consuming, and packaging their coffee. This approach also aims to encourage the appreciation of coffee consumption and ultimately support coffee cafes. People often buy food from restaurants not because they are unable to cook, but for the convenience and familiarity of certain dishes they enjoy at home, such as matuk and kalo. Similarly, if people become accustomed to drinking coffee at home, they will be more likely to purchase it when they are in town. In this digest, I also included illustrative guides for those who want to start commercial roasting, grinding, and packaging of coffee. Yours sincerely, Dennis Wamala. WamalaDennis@gmail.com.